crafty friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my craft room. So today I just want to share one quick technique with you. It is a masking technique. A couple of weeks ago I did a video sharing a whole bunch of different masking techniques, and just a reminder in case this is the first time you've ever seen one of my technique videos, but I'm making a little technique album. And this is one of those little photo albums with the sleeves that you can slide 4x6-inch photos into. Instead of photos, I'm sliding 4x6-inch cards. These are white cardstock, and I'm doing techniques on them. I'll do a technique on one side, and then I will add the typed instructions on the other side. Now I have the typed instructions available. They look like this. There's 4 different techniques usually on a sheet, and these are available on my blog for free at stampingimperfection.com. When you get to stampingimperfection.com, click the Techniques tab at the top, and you will be taken to a page on my blog that has all of my technique videos so far and the printables, the free printables that are available. Now this particular technique will be on a technique sheet with techniques 33 and 34. I'm kind of adding this one out of order. But when I finished the masking video a couple days later, I realized I wanted to include this particular technique also. This is a really fun one. This is a masking technique where you mask an area for the sentiment to go. You stamp above and below it, and then when you're done you can stamp the sentiment, and it makes really pretty cards, like super simple one layer cards. If you like clean and simple cards, this is a great technique for you to learn, and all you need is a little bit of low-tech masking tape. So let's get to the technique and help yourself to those printables, because it's really a nice resource to have. And all I do is trim these down so that I can glue them onto one of these 4x6-inch cards. Then I have the space next to it to actually do the technique. So I wanted to just show you one. As I was doing some of the things, when I got all done, I created, when I had done a technique series on masking techniques, and I had done a few, and then when I got all done with the video, I realized, like, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. So I did a few masking things. I realized, oh, I wish I'd done one like this. And so I decided to create this one. This is actually technique number 24, but you'll find it on the sheet with techniques 33 and 34. I finally got that made up. So I want to show you how I did this. And you can see I created this one a while back, like a couple of months ago. I've got this really wide band, and that's where I did the masking. I used a really wide piece of masking tape. For my sample today, I'm going to use this 1-inch piece of masking tape, and you can put that masking tape anywhere on your paper that you want it to go, and you do just want to get it straight. So I usually like to line it up with my grid paper like that. I'm going to tip it sideways just like that to work on it. Now I'm using, this is one of my favorite stamp sets, the textured floral stamp set. I love this. I love the sentiments in it, and I really love the images. Like, you can make some gorgeous things with this. I've made I've probably made 20 cards with this set alone. So I'm going to start with, I decided I would make it a little fall looking, so I'm using crushed curry. So I'm going to just start. I pulled out 2 of the stamps. I pulled out this smallest little floral here, and then I pulled out the splatter stamp. I love this. I think this can look like a floral stamp if you do it just right in the right colors, and I've been having a lot of fun playing with this particular stamp set. So I'm going to stamp this in crushed curry. I'm going to do it a couple of times here on each side. And as I do this, notice that I'm kind of overlapping. And you can do second generation stamping if you want to. You can do a little bit of that. So I'm kind of overlapping that tape in the center. And I really like the way that looks. So I'm going to clean off my stamp. And I just have a stamp chamois here to the side. And I'm going to close up the crushed curry. I'm going to pull out the Cajun Craze. I love this color. Like, this is such a pretty color for fall. And I'm going to stamp this a couple times, and I'll turn the stamp here and there just to get a different look. There we go. And now I'm going to add a little bit of the Old Olive, and I just picked 3 colors from the Regal line. This is the Stampin' Up! Regal line, and I'm just going to ink up the top part of this stamp and then stamp that in a couple spots. And maybe do some stamping off there as well, just to get a little bit of that nice like orangey yellow in, or orangey green in there. And I love a little bit of, yellow green. I'm just trying to get a little bit of that yellow green in there, and we'll stamp that like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and remove the masking tape. I'm going to clean up my mess here. Now some of the videos are longer. I'm just putting one technique on this because it was a technique I wanted to add in into the set. Now another thing I like to do is I have this little T-square ruler, and I like to add a little bit of marker detail here. I use the bullet tip of my marker, and I'm just going to go along the edge of my marker here like that, and it kind of just finishes it off. That little border, I think, gives it a really finished off look, and it's a look I like a lot, so I just did that. And then I'm going to go ahead and this is my Stampin' Up! Basic Black marker. I'm going to go ahead and pull out one of the sentiments. And this is my favorite one. Will it fit? That will just fit in there. I love this sentiment. Every thought of you makes me smile. I'm going to pull out one of my sentiment blocks here, just like this, and I think I want to add a little bit of, let's see, I think I want to add a little bit more Cajun Craze, actually. You could do it in any color. This is just a sample. It's not going on a card. It doesn't really matter what colors I stamp it in. And hopefully I'm getting it straight. Okay, so there's my little sample. Like, that's a really nice little sample to have. And you know, you can do smaller sample techniques that you can then add to your technique album. So I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to add a little glue to the back of this, and I'll have a really beautiful card to add to my technique album. And I'm really enjoying this. I have several tools that I've made lately, or that I'm working on. I do a few techniques every couple of weeks and add them to my album here. So I have this resource available to myself. But I've got a layering guide. I have a video and a printable on the layering guide on my blog. And I have card sketches that I have on my blog. So definitely, check all of those out because those are great tools. I will be sharing my Color Coach tool soon in a video, and I've got swatching videos. So there you go. Doesn't it look pretty in that album? And you can see I've got embossing techniques. I did several different embossing. In fact, I did 10 embossing techniques in my latest technique video. And these are techniques that I use all the time. There's many more embossing techniques you can do, but I used the 10 that I like to do the most. Then I've got some masking. I've got a whole bunch of sponging ones, and I did creating falling snow, creating snowbanks, and I did a couple different snowfall techniques, and then I did a smushing background, and then I did a night sky and a moon in a couple different ways, and then a whole bunch of masking techniques, which I showed you here before, a whole bunch of ink blending techniques that I really enjoy, and then some faux watercolor, ghost stamping, second gen in motion stamping, and then of course classic techniques, rock and roll and kissing, and then the ink clear block technique, and then a couple of marker techniques, the thumping technique and just the direct to stamp coloring. I mean, it's so easy to forget techniques that you've tried a few times, and then you get busy and you forget about them. It's nice to have a record of those techniques, and as you learn new ones, you can add your own to the album as well. Maybe there's some that I'm not thinking of or not remembering, but you'll have your little album, and I can tell you already I'm going to need a second album because I have way more on my list to add than what I have left here, because I only have about 14 slots left. But if you want the printables, just so you have them, again, go to my blog at stampingimperfection.com and look for the technique tab at the top, and you will find the printables and the videos all in one spot in that location. So thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe and click the bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. And if you are looking for Stampin' Up! Supplies, like some of the things I used here today, like this gorgeous textured floral stamp set, or this Stampin' Right marker, or even some of the beautiful inks, you can check out my Stampin' Up! Store at shopwithkim.net. So friends, have a wonderful day, and I hope you find time to be creative today.